Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to our uh, bi-weekly webinar, Fat Wallet, the Fundamentals of Building and Managing Wealth. I am your host, Ibrahim Saleh. And today, inshallah, we have a great guest speaker, a small surprise for you. Just to kind of review our program, the program is sponsored by the Multicultural Center Financial Center. It's a bi-weekly program focused on education and educating our community about how to attain the financial freedom. Our mission, we intend to elevate the generation to be the most educated, well-informed, and successful group possible. Sorry, I'm having technical problem just going through the screens. All right. Just want to remind you, quick reminders, you can use the chat function to submit any questions or after the webinar, if you just reflect back or you listen to it again and you have any types of questions or feedback, you can go to the Multicultural Center online and you just to go to the forums and you will see the Fat Wallet. We already got some questions that will be answered in the next webinar, but this is a way for you to kind of, send us your questions, or along the way through the webinar, you can just send us your questions as well. Today, as promised, we going to be talking about, our topic is the importance of budgeting. And I have a guest speaker who is a dear friend of mine, Jason Beaver, who's actually a principal consultant with the Tactics Consulting Group. We work together, has over 25 years experience in multi-industries, from the public to private companies as well. Jason's background is really focused on the finance as well as operations as well. So he have a kind of well-rounded experience in running and supporting businesses as well. But what I ask him to do today is help us understand the importance of budget, how he practice that on the day-to-day basis as a financial professional and a head of household as well, and give us some wisdom. So without further ado, Jason, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Ibrahim, and thank you all for joining. Am I controlling now? Yes, okay. So I would like to link back to the last topic that you guys covered on the Fat Wallet, which was around saving first. And when you're considering a budget, there's a really strong linkage there. So one of the things around savings is to put it first in your process of managing your finances. And so a budget is an excellent tool for doing that, to making sure it has a specific space. And we heard that a major hurdle for savings is the lack of a budget. So they're directly linked. The importance of setting savings targets. So if you have something specifically you're saving for, whether it's retirement, purchase of a home, you have a wedding or a major purchase like a car, college, things like that, it helps if you have a target, you know how much you have to save by a certain amount of time, and you build that into your plan. Otherwise, it's just leaving it up to chance and hoping for the best. And that always introduces a lot of uncertainty. Next is what is the purpose of savings? Well, you should have a cushion for unexpected events. Any one of us, if we had a unforeseen medical emergency come up, could be devastating. And so having a cushion of expenses so that you know that you can get by and get through that tough time is important. Also, retirement contribution. And then lastly, the savings first is really all about making it deliberate. And that's why you do it first. Anything to add to that, Ibrahim?
No, I think it's just the purposes. We mentioned that the purposes last time was just to basically making sure that you always have the 6 months worth of house expense, you have some, $2,000 to $5,000 for emergencies, and you start contributing to your retirement. And those should be a common goal for all of us, regardless.
And it brings peace of mind knowing that those are there. So how does a budget relate to savings? So simply establishing the budget and then following it. And that's key, following it. If you have a budget and you're constantly missing it or going over the budget, then you're not really living by the budget. So setting a budget and following it really takes care of one of the major hurdles for savings. And the budget allows you to direct a portion of your money upfront to savings before you start taking care of needs or wants. And we'll talk a little bit later about what kind of tools that you can use to help you with this. And then it gives savings a seat at the table and prioritizes it. So what I mean by that is, you have to pay for your rent or your mortgage, you have to put food on the table. Savings should be just as relevant, just as present and important as those other things that you know. And then it also allows you to set goals and a course. So if there's some place you want to be, if it's a savings target for a specific purpose, you can map out that plan. Okay. So what is a budget? In simple terms, and I'm not going to read this whole slide word for word, but in simple terms, it's knowing how much money you have coming in and how much money you have going out, both current and future. So you know your current situation, but you can also look down the road a bit and know when things are going to change. An example of that might be if your children are growing and they're about to leave the home, well, you can foresee expenses dropping down the road. Or vice versa, if you have a new expense that you know is coming on in the next year, you can plan for that. So it's about current and future money coming in and going out. And then key is reviewing it periodically. So I like to recommend like a quarterly review. Just make sure, is this making sense for me? Is my budget still working? Has anything changed? So every 3 months you look at that. And if you need to, you can adjust up or down. And adjusting might mean, hey, I found that I have a little bit more money than I thought before. And when I don't have a plan for that money, I tend to spend it. So why don't I target more for savings? So it could be that. Okay. Key aspects of a budget. These are the things down below, these 5 boxes. So it allows you to check on your spending and make sure that you're aware of what you're spending. 2, it allows you to watch your savings. The third one is more around the needs. So your basic expenses, do you have enough for those, or do you need to adjust something that is maybe optional to get there? And then the fourth one here, it allows you to determine if you're going to have enough money for things you want versus things you need. And there is a difference there. I'd like to think sometimes wants can become needs. For example, you might have a hobby that you're passionate about, and right now it's a want. But if you turn into making that a business or an income source, then it might become a need and you have certain expenses related to that. So you got to really think about what is necessary and what is not. And then avoiding or managing debt. This is important because there have been times in my life where my focus is avoiding debt. So I want to make smart decisions and not get in debt. And there are other times where I've had to take on debt for various reasons, whether it's to fund a business or schooling or had to buy a car. And then managing the debt becomes key because you can put a plan in place to pay that down in a reasonable time. So you're not getting hit with additional interest costs and so forth.
I think you're breaking a good point here. You're bringing a good point around managing debt. So in life, we will not ever be able to avoid the debt. So you will have to somehow, somewhere, for whatever reason, is actually either leaning on the credit card to manage a large purchase, or maybe get a loan for something, for a car, or maybe for housing. However, it is very important that you're managing the debt. You don't get yourself into too much debt, and you don't sound hopeful as well, meaning that you will get a large debt and you say, well, my future income is going to cover that. So you cannot project your future income, and you cannot rely on a large future income as well. You need to manage that debt, making sure that whatever you can borrow right now, you are able to pay it back within the current income. So if you have $1,000 a month, you allow, $100 a debt, that means every single month you are able to pay that debt back. So you don't take kind of large sum of debt, hoping that your future income is going to cover that. And that's really kind of the managing the debt. And we try to keep it always minimal is,
Yes.
um,
Yeah, good points. And by even saying avoid debt there, you raise a good point. I'm not of the opinion that you're going to avoid it always. There will be periods where maybe you have a choice where you can avoid a debt, on a case by case basis is what I mean. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Here are maybe some more visual ways of looking at the budget. The first one is just a basic formula. You have a certain income or money coming in. Then, as we talked about last week, you put savings first. You target that amount you're going to have for savings. And then you have your expenses. These are things you can't avoid, and you can manage them. You can try to keep them minimal, but these are things that are necessary in life. And then if there are things left over, you can call this discretionary spending, which means for wants, for things you'd like to have, or maybe help build that 6-month expense backup that you have. Any thing you want to add on that one, Ibrahim, first?
I think here it just reinforces again in that formula that the savings needs to be first, is before you start spending on anything. That's really what we're trying to convey the last couple of webinars, is making sure that this becomes a priority, becomes part of your normal way of life. Is every income stream that comes your way, every paycheck, a portion from it right away goes to the savings and stay there.
Yeah, good point. Because what you'll find is if you put the savings first, then you look at the expenses and you don't have enough left for these. You'll look at some of those expenses and say, which do I not need, or which can I spend smarter on? Yeah. Then the second part of this page here is the 50-20-30 rule. So what this means is after tax, so your money in your pocket after taxes or pre-tax contributions, 50% could go to needs, 20% for savings, and 30% for wants. Now you might have a different breakdown. Maybe you do 25 and 25 for savings and wants. But the important thing is that you set a structure that gets it in your head that this is the percentage of my income and where I want it to go to. So it's deliberate spend. Okay. Next, I wanted to just touch on some resources. So, maybe you've done budgets before, maybe you haven't, maybe you're looking to where I can go and get some help. There are tools, applications out there that are made specifically for this purpose, plenty of them. There are some that you can access and get going for free, some are for a charge, and they have varying capabilities. Some of these are Mint, Pocket Guard, EveryDollar, Truebill, and they have different capabilities. Mint is more of a comprehensive end-to-end, I would say. One like EveryDollar is really focused on showing you where every dollar went and giving you a breakdown of the things you spend money on. Truebill is more tracking bills and making sure you're getting good value and allowing you to challenge, hey, I'm paying too much for let's say a certain utility, and there's another option out there. Then your bank often will offer tools online. This is really to supplement a budget in that they'll show you where your money is going. So you can download data. Some banks offer nice charts and graphs and so forth. Or it could be a simple Excel spreadsheet. If you're comfortable with spreadsheets, you can build it your own. And we'll look at a couple examples here next. Okay. Before you get started, there are some basic questions you need to ask yourself. You need to understand your income. Is it fixed and it's the same every month? Or is it variable? Maybe certain times of the year it's more, or maybe it depends on customers coming in and it fluctuates. So if you look at your history of money coming in, as well as last 6 months of expense, and you can do that by looking at your checking, your credit card, whatever you use to pay bills, and you get a sense of what is normal. You can have a high level, a low level, or average, and you can map out your income and expenses. Next, that third bullet there is very important. Come up with a realistic budget. And I think that's why it's important to look at historical data. So you wouldn't want to pick the low point of a certain expense. Like, oh, I hope it's always this low. You need to look at what the range is. So if you spend $50 to $200 on gasoline every month, maybe push it towards the higher end, and then you'll be surprised if you come in under, pleasantly surprised, rather than hope it's always 50, that sort of thing. And then, of course, again, ensure savings are first. So this needs to be a visible and front and center aspect on your budget.
And probably, Jason, from an income perspective, we would do the opposite, where we always, if your income fluctuates, pick the lowest point. So, if it's a 2000, this month, next month is 4, then it goes to 2.5. So you pick last 6 months or last 12 months, what is your lowest level of income? And that would be the set for your budget, for your budget formula as well. And then when you review the last 6 months of your expense, make sure that you analyze that while you go. Look at, am I spending my money on the needs or versus the wants? Is it going in the right places, right buckets or not? Because you have to come up with the realistic budget. The objective here is making sure that you understand where your money is going and that you save money and control your cost. So you just have to be realistic. You have to be honest with yourself when you're making those choices.
Yeah, very good point. So this first one is a very simple spreadsheet type of budget. You can see you have income at the top, then all your expenses and savings. Now savings here is listed at the bottom, but it needs to come first. Let's keep that in mind. You can build some formulas in here. That difference column is going to say, hey, I expected to spend X on internet and the bill came in higher, and then the difference will show up, and you can make notes, hey, I called and followed up and understand the additional charges, or hey, they raised my rates, now it's a time to shop around and maybe find a different provider. And so the budget allows you to see visually, am I meeting my goals? If not, gives you the chance to do something. So this is a very simple one. A little bit more complex. This is also built in Excel, but you can see there are colors that are red and yellow and green that light up when things are above or below, and you have everything broken down into categories, your housing costs, your transportation, entertainment, and so it's just more detailed if that's what you're looking for. This is Mint. This is one of the online apps that we mentioned. The nice thing about these apps is they're built for you. You don't have to be afraid of working in a spreadsheet or even spending hours to build a spreadsheet, because that's what the app does. And they have tutorials to get up and running on them. But Ibrahim, I think you're a user of Mint. What do you like about using Mint?
Yes, sir. So I've been using Mint for probably 4 to 5 years now. It's actually owned by QuickBooks. It's a kind of an accounting software, but what I like about it is it brings all of my financials into just one app. So if we go through it quickly, so on the left side here, you say set a budget. You can actually create your budget within the system. So you will look at your last 6 months of expense. You come up with an average and you set that average and say, now from now on, my monthly budget is going to be that X amount of dollar. Then you can link all of your accounts. So whether it's a bank accounts, whether it's a credit card accounts, and Mint will bring those transactions on a daily basis. So bottom left here, when it says track transactions, this is all of your accounts. And know that my wife goes crazy because I can see every dollar that's, leaving the house and how is it categorized. And Mint as well allows you, or actually it has the AI, it has the category. So we will have suggested category for you. And then tracking those transactions against the budget, you come up with these types of analysis. See, if you can look at the top left, you see auto and transport, say 762 of 500. That means that we set up a budget of 500, we already spend $762. You go to the utilities, it's green, $423 versus a budget of $500. Childcare, you're in the green. So it gives you that visual and also the dollar amount. Then on the right side, there are two charts. There is analysis that for your spend, you can drill down and you can see where your money is going as well. And then underneath it, there is a bill reminder. And that bill reminder, it comes to you in the form of just a notification on your phone, or it comes in an email as well. So I just like that view that you can get all of these options in Mint as well.
Yeah, and all
There
in
is
one place is very nice.
and it's all in one places. It's all in one app. The most really I like is just the pulling all transactions. I mean, you have couple credit, 2 or 3 credit cards. You have a couple bank accounts. I set up my kids with bank accounts as well, so they're all have their own. And this is a way to just to bring all these transactions. You can detect fraud pretty quick as well because you can see where the money is going on a daily basis. The next item in Mint, or the next, all right, yeah, right there. So the next item in Mint as well is you are able to set a goal. So, if you want to buy a car, you can set a goal and say, I want to set a target of, $15,000 or $10,000 to buy a car. What Mint will do is through the transactions and through your saving accounts, because you're linking all of your accounts, it's going to read how much you're saving versus your target. And will show you whether you're closer to your target or not. The same if you want to buy a house, if you want to crush the credit card debt. So it allows you to set those targets and also allows you to track your progress against those targets. So those are, some of the options that are in Mint. You can use it online. You can use an app on your phone as well. But I like the technology. So, it's if you're comfortable with that, you can use it. Otherwise, you can use a spreadsheet as well. Some people like to just crunch the numbers and making sure that they look at the bank statement. That's fine as well. As long as you have a tool that can help you look at your budget and look at your actual spend and understand why you have differences.
Yeah, I like on this previous slide, it tells you right at the top that you have how much money you have for how many days. You can see if you're on target. That's pretty in your face.
Yep.
There's not a lot of guesswork there. So just a recap of why we budget. So if you think about a business has to budget or else they're out of business. If they don't have enough money to keep the lights on, keep the doors open, to hire or to pay their employees, they shut down. Individuals should be treated no differently, and that's how we spend responsibly, is to make sure that that we're solvent, that we have enough money for everything. It allows you to set targets and have a plan so that you're doing things purposefully and with a reason. You can use the available tools, and the great thing about being alive in today's day and age is there's a lot out there, and there's competition to make the tools better than the next tool, so they're always improving. And then lastly, I just want to mention that visibility is, in my opinion, the most important thing here. If you make your spending visible, then you can do it with awareness and a purpose, and allows you to make good decisions. So if there is a decision point, hey, I have a little bit extra money this month, how do I want to use it? Or I ran out of money, where did it go? You can make decisions. If you have the data and you're looking at the data, then it's easier to make those decisions. So if you have the questions like down here at the bottom, is it going where I want it to go? Is it aligned with my goals? And am I getting good value? So you might have enough money to spend how you're spending today, but maybe you don't need that 400 channel package of Xfinity. So I think we're at the end of the content here. So I'll turn it back to you, sir.
Thank you, Jason. So with that, we have our next session is actually scheduled for the 2nd of November. As we mentioned, that we will have a dedicated session to answer all of your questions. So the next sessions will be just to focus on answering your Q&A. It's going to be at 8:30. And again, you can submit your questions through the MCC forms and Fat Wallet. Jason, I want to kind of thank you and give you the opportunity to just close the session for us today before we see if we have any questions.
Sure. Yeah, so this closing quote from James Ramsey, I think, is very simple but very true. A budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. And that should give everybody some comfort, I think.
Indeed. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time, Jason. Thank you.
Thanks for asking.
Hopefully we'll have you again. Okay, let's see if we have any questions. All right, we do not have any questions. So again, if you reflect back or just watch the webinar, you want to ask any questions, please go to the Multicultural Center website, multiculturecenter.net, forms, Fat Wallet, and just submit your questions. And all of the questions that we received so far will be answered in the next webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. And I wish you a wonderful rest of the week. Assalamu alaikum.